Today's video has three things. The first is cards you need to buy. The second are cards you need to sell. And the third is a trading method that you need to use today and you do not want to miss out on. Welcome to Trading to Glory. If you're looking for cheap and reliable EAFC 24 coins, look no further than my new partner FUTLOOT and use my code ELYT, ELYYT, for an extra 6% at checkout. As you guys can see, I've got one or two Lewis Dunks, maybe a little bit more than one or two Lewis Dunks on my transfer list right now. Oh my God. Basically every single time he goes up 1,000 coins, I go up 50,000 coins because that's how many Lewis Dunks we have on our transfer list. And he has seen a nice little rebound after the crash on Saturday because of those new evolutions that came out to the game. Center backs in Centurions. And so these center back Centurions upgrades, such as Gvardiol or Konate, a lot of people using informs like Todibo or Medina, who you can see on your screen there, the boost wasn't insane. It was definitely usable. I think a lot of people will do it. It's free, but the pace boost is only +2. So how usable is Medina still at this point? It's not like that card becomes absolutely incredible. You have to use him in weekend league every weekend or you're going to be out of place. So that didn't end up happening, which meant that Lewis Dunk, who had crashed from about 57K to 44K, has rebounded back to 50,000 coins now, which is great because that extra 6,000 coins is making us about 300,000 more coins in profit on those Lewis Dunk cards. But when it comes to investing in new cards right now, I think our focus needs to go right back to Fodder. Now, Fodder is going to be a pretty good price over the next few days. And it's all about timing it perfectly because here's the deal. We don't have a lot of great leaks. Negredo is supposed to come as an SBC over the next couple of days, and his card absolutely changes everything. I can't imagine going without it. It's electric. It's game-changing. That's what I said on Twitter. But we've also got Thiago Silva. This card may be a little bit more desirable. EA really need to boost his pace, and that is going to help that Thiago Silva actually be worth doing. But in the end, I'm not sure how many people are going to do that Thiago Silva. I don't know if they're going to make him 89 rated either, but we'll see when that Centurions SBC does come out. So we've got those two SBCs coming out in the next couple of days. I don't think either of them are absolutely game-changing, crazy, and going to move the fodder market very much, which is very important because it's on the way down right now. You've already got 90 rated cards down from 56K to 49K. You've got cards like the 89 rated sitting at 36,000 coins, which doesn't seem like too great of a deal in comparison to what it has been over the last few days. Seems pretty normal, but I'll show you why that's pretty tempting here in a second. You've got Kimmich 88 rated at 24K. You've got players at 87 rated at 16K. But the 85s are kind of inflated because of that icon SBC. Same thing a little bit with those 84s. But if we take a look back to last year, that is the big difference here, boys. We need to look at last year's graphs. Thomas Muller was an 87, and this is obviously a little bit higher rated fodder, but he was sitting at kind of the same prices all throughout the month. Let's look at Saturday, the 12th of November last year. He was about 15 to 16,000 coins. If we take a look at those prices again for 87 rated cards, about 16K. So it's not too terribly different at this time of the year last year. And as we got closer to Black Friday, these cards skyrocketed in price up to 23,000 coins. The reason that these cards are going to go up in price, the fodder goes up in price for Black Friday, is because Black Friday is a pack selling promo. EA want to make money, and if they make fodder expensive, it makes packs more valuable, more worth opening. If 87s only go for 9,000 coins and then 83s, 84s, 85s are close to discard price, then packs aren't very valuable and it's hard to sell 100K packs on the market, especially when fodder is that cheap. You don't need the fodder, you don't need those promo packs, and it just doesn't work out for them. So what they do every single year is they make fodder boom during Black Friday so that they can sell more packs. And so that's the idea behind it. But Thomas Muller is just a very, very small example of this. Let's go to Luka Modric. Luka Modric, as you can see at the beginning of November, you can see him at about 22,000 coins for an 88, dropping as low as 20,000 coins about 2 weeks into November. So be on the lookout for good deals over the next week or so. That is the buy time. And then these cards go up as Black Friday gets closer, spiking all the way to 55,000 coins actually during the Black Friday promo. So that card went from 20,000 coins to 55,000 coins. And so the reason I bring this up so early is because, yes, they could drop a little bit more over the next week or so. So there is time to invest, but I want to make sure you guys are prepared now, because that is a profit margin that is tough to ignore. Now, of course, 88s went up more than 87s because of SBC requirements. There were more 88s needed. A lot of times they'll say you need at least 2 players that are 88 or above in this team to get the SBC done. And so those cards went up much more last year, and that could change this year. But fodder in general, of course, goes up a ton. And you can see that Kimmich, who was about 27K at his lowest point, maybe about 30,000 coins on average during the month. As we got closer to Black Friday, went up to 37 and then spiked all the way to 55,000 coins, which was on the Black Friday promo weekend. So that is exactly what we're going to be investing in over the next few days, because I think that even though we do have to hold that for a couple of weeks, that is worth investing in. Now, you can obviously go out and club stock some of these cards and just put them into your club one by one. You get one Kimmich, one Patrick Vieira, one Osimhen, one Pop. Once you get done with all the 88s, you move on to 87. You get all of these guys. You get all the 89s. And you just throw them in your club and you forget about them until they skyrocket on Black Friday. And so that's something to consider. Now, for the low budget cards, you're not going to see quite as much movement during Black Friday. These cards are going to stay a relatively similar price, but they are going to rise. I just think that the profit margins are going to be a little bit higher on those 87s, 88s, maybe 89s. Now, let's talk about road to the knockouts now, because Sildilia was an investment that we made a couple days ago at about 21,000 coins, and unfortunately, he hasn't really moved a ton, which kind of sucks because I have seen some cards go up. Now, there is a little bit of a downside to the fact that we invested in him as a center back. Center backs in general went down a lot more because of that new center back evolution. People are selling their tradable center backs, getting that evolution center back and using that instead. So it definitely did not help our Sildilia investment. It's still a card I'm probably going to hold until Tuesday or Wednesday. Of course, they play Thursday, so you could wait till Thursday and sell into the hype then. It's a little riskier though, because they could start seeing a dip then, and you're also risking the fact that if they don't sell and their game starts, then anything can happen. If they get scored on, I mean, you're screwed, right? They're going to drop in price pretty quickly. So just be very careful with how you trade with these RTTKs. But when we look at some of the other players like Dodo, who is strictly a right back and not more of a center back like Sildilia is, that card has risen and it's gone up a very nice amount very quickly. He's gone from about 90,000 coins all the way to 117K. If we see a dip in the morning, then we can go in on some of these road to the knockouts. But for the most part, everybody who has invested in these RTTKs, you're going to want to hold for maybe another couple hours. If they play Tuesday and then sell, then you're probably going to want to sell anybody who plays on Wednesday, sell those guys on Tuesday. Anybody who plays on Thursday, sell those guys on Wednesday. That's generally how it goes. You sell 24 hours before their game roughly, and you take your profit and get out of there. You can always reinvest in these cards after they win their match, as those cards still get panic sold. If we take a look at Luka Modric, his card for the road to the knockout, this is a great example. When he played his match, which was nearly 2 weeks ago, he obviously rose into the hype of that match, peaked at about 385,000 coins, and then he dropped very hard as we got closer to that game. This was about 24 hours before. Then he actually won the match, secured an upgrade, and still dropped really hard in price to 330,000 coins. And you could have reinvested right there, taken the profit, reinvested even after a win, and then he went back up in price. I think we're going to see the exact same thing happen. I think Real Madrid are going to win this game. I think that he's going to get an upgrade to 92 rated, and then we're going to be able to buy at the crash right after the game, and then he's going to get that upgrade to 93 rated. Here's the problem. is that there's no potential of another upgrade afterwards. And so this rise in price that we've seen over the last week and a half is not going to be the same on these RTTKs anymore once they get their final upgrade, which is on Friday after they secure their first or second place in the group. And if they secure first or second and clinch that, then they will get an upgrade on the subsequent Friday after their game, as long as EA are competent enough and care enough to actually update the cards, because I've seen them miss the dates before. So hopefully they don't do that. Anyway, these cards are probably going to follow a similar trend until that Friday, and then once they get that final upgrade, some of those cards might spike up, especially if they give them a little bit more of an upgrade than we're expecting and make them super usable. But a lot of people are going to have investments in that card waiting for the upgrade, and then right when that upgrade comes out, they list, and then undercutting ensues. And then those cards end up dropping in price. So be very careful with these dynamic cards. If we look back at FIFA 23, there's a great example of a card that absolutely died in price. It's one of the most iconic cards to trade with in, honestly, FIFA history. Bruno Guimaraes' Path to Glory. Path to Glory is kind of similar to Road to the Knockout, where it's a dynamic card based on their team's performances, but this was World Cup related. Anyway, if we take a look at that huge graph there at the beginning, you can see this card rose, and then after he was done getting upgrades, he dropped from 800k down to 197,000 coins. And that happened in like a day. It's absolutely insane. So obviously that card was over invested in for what its actual value was. Yes, if he got another upgrade, his value would have gone up a little bit more. But if that 89 rated is only worth 198,000 coins, then I can't imagine a 90 rated card is worth $1 million. And so you're looking at people only investing just because of the hype of an upgrade. And once that upgrade comes, or doesn't come, which is even worse, they crash in price. So either way, they crash in price. You've got to be prepared for that. And so with these Road to the Knockout cards like Modric, yes, there is going to be a buy window after their match if they win the game, but you probably want to sell before Friday, before the upgrade even happens. Now, when we look at players like Lewandowski, it might be a little bit of a different story just because this card's going to be 94 rated, and those stats are absolutely insane. I talked about his card when he was 600k just a few episodes ago, and if you invested in Lewandowski, I want to know in the comments, because we called him at 600k. He's 730 now. He might get closer to 740, 750 by the time you want to sell, but his game is on Tuesday, so I wouldn't hold too much longer. Either way, these RTTKs have made us absolute bank this year, and hopefully that Sildilia will go up at least a little bit. And if not, I'm selling either way. I'm trusting the process, and if we don't end up making profit, I'm not going to hold into the game hoping, oh, this will make me profit, and then lose even more. So be very careful with taking those kind of risks going into the match. Normally, and almost always, it's just not going to work out. Centurions Challenge 4, which was absolutely terrible value, so much so that I did not even do it, expires in 8 hours, which means that I think that today we're going to get Centurions Challenge number 5. And given how bad value Challenge 4 was, I think they make this one good. And so that means SBC solution trading will be back. Guys, SBC solution trading is where a new SBC comes out. You're going to go over to FUTBin's active SBCs, and then you're going to click on the challenge. You're going to see which challenges say that they are the cheapest, and especially ones that are created maybe not even 2 minutes ago. You're looking for created 2 seconds ago, or 10 seconds ago, or 19 seconds ago, and you click on that SBC, you see which cards are in that squad, and you go out and buy a few of them before they skyrocket up in price. The reason that they go up is because of the fact that everybody who sees that says cheapest on the SBC will just click it and buy those cards. And despite the fact that, you know, players like Yang Hyung Joan is 250 coins according to FUTBin, he might already be 3,000 coins on the market after 30 seconds, after 1 minute, and people will still buy him. I don't know why, but they will, because they're that lazy and do not know how to do the SBCs on their own, and they'll spend ridiculous, extortionate amounts on these cards, and you end up just making a ton of coins on it. So that's something to look out for at 6 p.m. content today. But that's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. 75% of people that are watching the video aren't subscribed, so don't let that be you. And go ahead and comment down below, how many coins would you have if you sold everything? I try to get an update from you guys every week or so on how many coins you have so I can keep my trading methods for each one of your budgets. So let me know that down below. What's your coin total? And that's it for today's video. Click on that one if you want to watch more content. It's a good video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.